All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Ninja Lounge. Another AMA today, Friday. Friday is always a good day. So we have DegenX. Some of you might know them. We had them a few weeks back for an open mic. They really enjoyed our community, and we love their community at the same time. They are full of energy. They don't like randomly spam. They are really respectful, which we love that Ninja Lounge. Respecting each other is the key. And with that being said, we have K9 from DegenX. K9, welcome to the Ninja Lounge. Nice to have you back, guys.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Perfect. So let's kick it off. If you could please introduce yourself, and if someone from the team could want to jump in and introduce themselves, and touch a bit on your experiences within and outside of the crypto space, please.
Yeah, sure. So K9 here. So I'm one of the newest members of the DegenX team. I joined earlier in the summer, late spring, early summertime. I am, I suppose, in the marketing team in essence, but more sort of business development as well. Just to give you a run through of what we're going to do today. So we'll do a quick round of introductions. We've got quite a lot of team members, so we won't go around to everybody, but I'll call out a couple of key people just to sort of say hello. And then we'll go into, I want to talk a bit about the history of Degen or DegenX now. I want to talk about the launch we had. We obviously were with you guys before we launched. You heard a bit about us then. So I want to talk to you about our experience about entering the market, who we've kind of partnered with since then, our influencers. We've obviously been launched just over a week now, so I want to run through some key achievements. And then I'd like to go into just the sort of 3 or 4 of our main utilities that we've got planned or in the pipeline, followed by a Q&A. So if that sounds all right with you guys, we'll crack on with a few intros. So a little bit more about myself.
It looks like you have everything planned, really well planned over there. So yeah, kick it off.
That's fine. So a little bit more about myself. Not the most experienced crypto person. Been around since sort of mid 2020 in DeFi. I've worked on quite a few projects. My small specialist area is helping projects enter the market. That's where I'm sort of best used. But DegenX is the first project that I've been involved with that's kind of been post-launch, where I've been kept as a core team member. So it's kind of my first project in that space. But I have worked on a couple of others as well. So you might have seen my name knocking about. If not, no worries. Outside of crypto, by my name, you can see I'm a bit of a dog fan. Got 2 German Shepherds. And for my fiat job, I do commercial procurement auditing. So very, very boring. So we won't go into that. So there's a few of the team members on today. So just a high-level structure of our DegenX team. We have 3 developers. Hoping Daniel is on just to introduce himself. Daniel, are you there?
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah. There. Can you hear me? Is it too loud?
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, right. Okay. Hey, Ninja Lounge. Thanks for having us. Just to introduce myself, my name is Daniel. I'm the main developer of the DegenX project since March this year. Until now, I've created all the contracts we have right now, and I'm working pretty hard on the new and upcoming and hopefully innovative tech we want to bring to the crypto space. And I'm a software engineer for over 15 years now and started programming, I guess nearly 20 years ago. So I will support the project with my expertise to push the ideas we have to the next level in terms of smart contracts and Web3. Yeah, that's all I can say to me. I would hand the mic over to Morty. Is he there? If he wants. If not,
I think Morty had an issue with his mic. He said that he will join back.
Oh yeah, let's hand it over to Degen Trader.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, bro.
My name is. I'm Degen Trader. I'm a long time in Degens, right from the start in this movement. I work mostly in operations and some bit of marketing and graphics. And in real life, in Fiat job, I'm from Croatia. Work in construction business as a project manager. And in crypto space, I'm for the last 2 years, 2.5 years. And that's all. This is first project that I'm fully in, that I'm from the beginning. And that's all. I would like to, I don't know. Eric, can you introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, hi. So, hi everybody. So, I'm also from Croatia and I know DegenTrader personally. So, basically, at the start, he introduced me to DegenX project, which I found quite interesting and something that has a really nice future. So, I joined in, and from 3 guys, now we have almost 20 persons working as administrators and maybe 30 doing marketing. So it's a big thing we got here. I'm personally also a civil engineer, and for last almost 15 years I'm like a contractor, so basically building various objects like houses and stuff. So you will see at the end of our presentation we will talk a little about a Degen clinic, which is kind of connected to our type of work, something that we plan to develop. So yeah, that's something that that's my part of the job there. So keep listening, and let's go to another, maybe somebody from the team, or we can go back to K9 to
Let's go
continue
back.
our presentation.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, that's best. So basically, there's a lot of us. Not everybody can introduce ourselves now,
Big
but
team.
later. Yeah.
So it's a big team, guys. Like Eric said, 20 people in admin already, and just slightly wider than that. Like was also mentioned, the marketing team itself. So that's includes media, content creation, etc. Is 30 strong as well. So there's a lot of people. Quite a few of them are on the call tonight as well. We've got some very good contacts. So yeah, if anyone's interested in learning a bit more about individual team members, we'll talk about that afterwards. If not, we can press on.
I do have a question before we move into the project.
Sure.
So in regards of the core team, how many are in the core team, and how did you guys come together for this project? And are you guys docs to each other? And especially when it comes to Daniel, since he's a contract dev, is he doxed?
Yeah, so sure. Yeah, so in terms of how the team was created, it did start off. So we've got a session to talk about the V1 of the project. The V1 version was a project launched on the FegX ecosystem using the Smart DeFi tech. And basically that's a fixed contract. It had quite a few limitations, and there was an exploit which I'll get into in a minute. But back then the team was very small. It was 3 or 4 guys. It started off as 1 or 2, purely a kind of meme fun project. Pivoting around that degen type trader aspect in terms of like aping into random launches and getting rugged and buying honeypots, all that kind of stuff. But bit of a fun play on that, hence our name. We've retained that to an extent. That was the starting point. After the exploit, the team had a lot of downtime, and they brought in a lot of team members, including developers. And it grew and grew and grew that way. Some of the team know each other personally. And people like myself, they've brought in through invites where they've said, we've seen you work on another project. They basically call me the native speaker, because they're obviously all from Germany and Croatia. So they call me the native speaker and just send me off to go and speak to people, basically. So yeah, and that's basically what it is. But obviously we've recruited other people. So there's Ken Eath as well, who's on our team. He's not with us tonight because he's on a stag do. Bless him. Good luck. But yeah, he does a lot of our external business as well, business development. So he's we'll get more into that in a minute as well. But we've basically been through the recruitment process. We've invited people, and in terms of doxing to each other, like I said, a lot of the team know each other personally, or there's 2 groups of teams that know each other personally. Now, all of our main team is KYC'd with our audit company. So again, I would like to get into that in a little bit and answer that in a bit more detail. But to answer your question, yes, KYC has been completed already. And yes, obviously, we're docs to each other as well.
Okay, great. All right then. Mike is yours then to talk
Okay.
about let's talk about the project.
Sure.
And
So
you
starting-
said actually, do you want to do the transition from V1 to V2? What was the
just
story
briefly,
over
yeah.
there?
Just briefly,
Perfect.
because I kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
So DegenX is kind of the second iteration of the project. The first one was more of a meme focus. There was some development that was happening on that project, but it was very much shackled by the smart DeFi contracts, which were fixed. They were basically renounced at launch. The contract hosted its own liquidity, so there was never any opportunity to go and start doing like stuff with your supply, like CX listings and integrating other smart contracts, etc. is very limited. So at the time, we felt like we were jumping on some innovative tech, but as time grew on, it was a bit of a restriction. Then the exploit happened on the Fed exchange. All of the smart DeFi projects were basically made redundant overnight. And so the team had to spend a couple of months in downtime planning for the relaunch, which I'll get into now. So in terms of where we last time we were here, obviously we then went through and conducted our pre/private sale and launch. So just a little bit of information on that, because it's quite an interesting story. So our pre-sale structure was we created, obviously Daniel and Weisenstar created some bespoke contracts which facilitated our private sale. So what we did is we hosted it over 3 tiers, so gold, silver, and bronze. They were all the same price, which was 20% better price than the launch price. I mean, the price was the same across each tier. The difference between the tier was the amount of AVAX, as you know, launched on the Avalanche blockchain. The amount of AVAX that they could contribute, so 55 in gold, 20 in silver, and 10 in bronze. Gold and bronze were whitelist only, so they were people that were going to bring stuff to the project, influencers, partners, team members, and key community members or key V1 holders. And bronze were things like competition winners. We did a few VCs, or we did some duck races. We gave away a few that way. We did some shilling contests, referral competitions, and we gave away some whitelist spots that way. And then the silver, which was the middle tier, the 20 AVAX slot, was a public one, and we did a public mint. And so all of our private sale was done by everyone had to pay 2 AVAX to secure their spot, even whitelisters. So they had to pay 2 AVAX, mint a ticket. Once the ticket is in their wallet, they were then eligible to then participate in the private sale. So we had like about 35 spaces for silver, and it was like probably 400 people ready to buy it. So we had an absolutely mad evening. It was a Friday before the launch where we had all these people ready to buy. It sold out in 10 seconds flat. But interestingly enough, we were botted. So we actually, one person distributed 2.5 AVAX to 20 wallets, used the bot and secured 20 spaces. Now, because we've got a big team, we've got a blockchain expert as well who watched it live. We diagnosed that within half an hour. And what we did with that is Daniel actually rewrote the contracts overnight. Crazy, completely rewrote them. And then, so anybody that had a failed transaction, i.e. were beaten to it by the botter, were given their whitelist spot. So this botter ended up paying for 19 tickets, and we gave him one as a well tried, but we've got you there. So it was a bit of fun with them. So we ended up having a very clean private sale in the end. And then the launch came around, and it was just very much the same. We had hundreds of people. We had over 100 people in our VC at one point, and the launch was absolutely crazy. We've been watching the blockchain. We knew the botter was there. We knew that they were going to see some action. So again, really amazing devs built some custom contracts that helped us enter the market completely unscathed, with a few people that got their 99% tax through the anti-bot. But yeah, it was so safe, very clean. We knew we had a threat. We knew we were being watched by multiple people, and yeah, we still managed to come in clean because of the efforts from the devs. So absolutely fantastic launch. But again, not your everyday launch. We were up against it. We knew that we'd frustrated someone at the private sale, should we say, who tried to bot 20 spaces. So yeah, but we managed to come off victorious in that one. So that was it was all fun and games. The community loved it as well. So that was great. And then obviously we entered the market. We had a wild first few days. We got up to a 99 DEX tool score within, I think, 48 hours. I mean, we were within a few hours, we were over the 50, 60 mark, and we were 99 out of 99 within 48 hours. We've trended every day on DEX tools 1, 2, or 3 every single day that we've been in. I think up until today that we've been live, we've been trending number 1, 2, or 3 on DEX tools. Which is for an AVAX project is very good. AVAX hasn't got the same volume as the likes of ETH, for example, or BSC. So to generate that volume and interest, we were really pleased with. We didn't foresee it being as crazy as it was. So I've mentioned before as well. Before we launched, the team had all of the smart contracts audited by Solid Proof, and they also did the KYC. So our private sale structure, where everyone paid 2 AVAX, that actually paid for the auditing and the KYC. So it gave the investors the security. So we paid it up front and then paid ourselves back with the private sale structure. So that worked really, really well. It gave the investors that security.
Just a quick one, sir. For the whitelist spots, how many whitelist spots did you sell, and how many did you how much AVAX did you raise from this sale?
Sure. So over the gold tier, there were 30 spaces, and they were 55 AVAX each contribution. And then silver, there were 35 spaces, and they were 20 AVAX each. And for bronze, there were 15 spaces at 10 AVAX each. So we were able to start with 2,250 liquidity, which we split over 2 dexes. That's the Pangolin and the Trader Joe dexes. So we split them 50-50, and we launched on both at the same time. So again, launch was like completely wild, because it was like, what dex are you going to buy on Trader Joe or Pangolin? Like, we're trying to figure out where the volume's going to be, and then try and beat the other investors to it. So it was wild. But yeah, that's how much we raised. I think it was slightly over than that. So the rest of it went into like marketing and development funding as well.
Perfect. And but you were selling whitelist spots at the same time, right?
So we didn't sell them. Yeah, so it's so they were every single spot, whitelist and public, was we had to go through a minting process. So they were NFTs technically. They're not like picture NFTs. They're basically tickets. And so everybody
do you have the number of how many whitelist spots you sold?
Yeah, so it was let's see, so 30 plus 35, 65 plus 15, so about 80 or so.
Oh, so you didn't sell more than that, right? Because you said something early in the beginning that you had 400 people for 30 spots or something like that.
That's right. So there were that many people kind of in our Telegram online and interested, and we saw all that blockchain activity.
They were just interested. They didn't have whitelist. Okay, got it.
They couldn't get them. So that silver was public. So that was the non-whitelist. That was like the pre-sale rather than the private. So it was the non-whitelist aspect of our pre-launch stuff. So that was completely public. So we said 8 o'clock, be online. You'll be able to mint your ticket. If you can mint it successfully, you'll be able to contribute 20 AVAX into the private sale, which is 20% better than the launch price minus tax.
Gas
well. So, so it was carnage, but it was really, really good. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, yeah. So like I was saying, all its KYC, all that's done. So within 24 hours post launch as well, we've managed to secure both CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko listings, which is pretty rare. I mean, normally CoinMarketCap takes at least a couple of days, a week. So big shout out to Kez, who's on the call, who sorted it out for us. So if you're struggling, hit him up, guys. Top guy. So we did that 24 hours, which is really, really impressive. And since then, we've got some really big marketing partnerships as well. So I've mentioned we've got a 30-strong marketing team. But we've also got some really key players. So I'm going to forget some. So if I do, whoever's on the call, back me up. But we've got the likes of 100x Gems. We've got Scotty from Geordie Shore, who's a big Twitter influencer, 1.2 million followers. Raven. We had DJ Prestige. Sammy, who's a Kurdish influencer. We've had Steve Char as well, who's a fake admin. Who else have we had, guys? We've had quite a few more as well. We've had a whole host of people interested in DegenX, and we've done a lot of them are volunteers. We've not paid them anything. They are volunteers. Some we've paid. We've had Scutno as well. Scutno is one of our partners as well. So he's been really promoting our project and helping us from a consultancy perspective as well. He's been great. So we've had a lot of big names interested before the launch as well. So they've all been really helpful and helped push the project and unlock a few doors for us. So yeah, I mean, 100x Gems. He's got a registered CMC account, which he's very influential within the CMC ecosystem. So he's been really helpful for us as well, pushing us on Twitter. But this all pivots around our marketing team. Like that, those guys are working 24/7 with our influencers, helping them create content and pushing it. It's been very, very easy. So big thanks to them. So that's kind of it in terms of what I wanted to go through pre sort of and just post launch and some of our key achievements. I don't know if any other team members wanted to jump in and add to that. I'm assuming not. Actually, no, there's a few more bits. So since then as well, so we have had an official business development meeting with Ava Labs. So we had a meeting with them. They were very keen to hear about the project and the utility, and they've kind of said to us that we can use their Powered by Avalanche sticker, if you like. We can put that on our website. So, and they're supportive of seeing some of our applications. We ran them through some of our utilities that we want to build or have partially built already. And they basically said, like just being transparent, they don't support individual projects or tokens. What they do support is applications built on their blockchain. So, Daniel obviously and Vyzen started building some really clever tech, and that kind of had their ears perked up a little bit. So we'll be back with them again once we've got a bit further down the line and we're possibly ready to test. So they've also said that from a resource, funding and marketing perspective, they'd support once we've got an application ready to work with. So really, really exciting stuff from that perspective. Other things we talked about include the I'll cover the the Avalanche node in a bit. So before I push on to utility, does anyone want to do a quick few questions now? We're sort of halfway through. Does anyone want to fire a few questions off at me?
I think that is kind of clear. So you had the private. So yeah, actually, if you could touch a bit on the distribution of the money that were raised, and where did that money went from the private sale?
Pretty much all into liquidity. So the cost to mint the tickets paid for our audits and KYC. So that gave us the investors a security before launch. We didn't have to do that after. We were able to use the 2 AVAX from each ticket to pay for our audits. And obviously we had 6, I think actually with 7 smart contracts that were audited. So it wasn't cheap. And obviously with the KYC stuff as well, that adds an extra level of security, especially with the devs. They've all done that. So that's what that paid for. And then of course the rest of it all into liquidity. So 2,250 AVAX total straight into the 2 liquidity pools, split 50-50. So that's where it went.
Right on. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for time being. That's it's kind of straightforward so far.
Okay.
I just want to touch more like once actually you go through the utilities, I want to talk us about what's the motivation for the team, creating this project, because you guys definitely are a big team over there. And because I remember some of the utilities that you have, but I will let you go through it so everyone can, can get to know what is it about. And then, we can go through it.
Sure. So starting with utility, the first natural utility we should probably discuss is the DAO. So Daniel's very keen to renounce the contract to the DAO. He doesn't want it in his name anymore, which is completely understandable. He wants to give full control of the project to a DAO. So that'll be one of our first priorities, is getting that set up. Now, how the DAO will work is a high level. Obviously, the actual fundamentals are still being built. We've got to test it. So don't have every single detail available tonight. But in essence, this is how it would work. It's an on-token DAO, so you'd vote on-chain. And in terms of the voting structure or proposal, so anyone could propose something, e.g., we have a 10% tax structure. They might want to change that down to a 6% tax structure. It could be proposed and voted on by the community. Now, the voting is going to be done basically it's very, very simple maths. your tokens equal your weight, so it's weighted. The bigger holders have a bigger weighting. People with multiple wallets have a bigger weighting. So yeah, that's how our DAO it will work as a high level, and the idea is to just hand it over to the community. The team will be going nowhere. We'll still be servants of the project, but decisions will eventually be taken out of the admin team and put into the DAO. So that's kind of the first utility. That is a very, very big priority of the devs. They following suit from the KYC and the audit perspective. We were very keen to provide that security to people. We don't want to hold the keys to the project. We want the community to. And you mentioned right at the beginning of the call that you're impressed with our community. Well, that's exactly why I want to hand it over. They've been absolutely immense so far. So we have no doubt that they'll continue to make the right decisions. With one slight question mark about that, which is the broccoli emoji. So one of our first proposals was and it was off.
That was my question that I said earlier before we start the AMA. That out of curiosity. So what is this broccoli?
So like I mentioned, we obviously want a DAO structure, but before we had that up and running on the token, we decided, well, that these are some of these decisions we should put forward to our community, and we asked people to kind of say, once we launch, we've got things like Bobby Bybot, like what emoji do you want on there? What emoji do people want in their names that kind of stands out? Like what do we want to use? And there was a few shortlisted. We had the broccoli, we had the big kind of stone head thing. I don't really know what it is. There was like the upside down avalanche triangle. There was a couple others. Anyway, it was an overwhelming vote, 50% or more, I think, in total voted for broccoli. So broccoli it is. So now you'll see a few of our team members and community members with broccolis in their name or their descriptions or bios, etc. And it's all over our buy bots, and it's all over our Telegram and Twitter as well. So, but interestingly enough, it's kind of unique. So as sort of comical as it is also stand out. Like I don't think any other projects are using broccoli as their chosen emoji. So interesting one. Blame the community. I think old Toby can take the blame for that. It was his. He's an old school team community member. Been around Degen V1 holder as well. So big shout out to him. It was his suggestion, and the community loved it, and that's what they voted for. So that's where that came from.
Awesome.
Can I add something to the broccoli?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that broccoli. Sorry, I'm hype man. I think that broccoli fits with the NFT, and we use it, we like it. It's like our icon, we like it. Some fun,
Yeah, exactly. Like the DegenX ecosystem was built on a few unique jokes, especially when we were the V1 project. And the broccoli is, it's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. It's unique, it's a bit of fun, harmless. So, yeah, it's here to stay.
Awesome. Yeah, problem solved over there. There is no more curiosity. Yeah, man, Go ahead.
All right. So moving on from the DAO, then utility number 2 we're going to talk about today, and I will stress I'm going to go through 3 or 4 utilities. There are about 16 I could probably go through, but I'm not going to today. But a long old roadmap. So I'll stick to 4, possibly 5, depending on time. So anyway, number 2 is our liquidity backing utility. So a few of you may have seen other projects before which use the term asset backing, which effectively is a secondary liquidity pool. So, for example, you'll have a tax structure that feeds a secondary liquidity pool, which isn't actually part of the market trading. So it doesn't ever go down, it only ever goes up. And then, so for example, if a project, in a year's time had been building up their asset backing over through their tax system, at one point, the asset backing value of the token may be worth more than the market price. In which case, a person could burn their tokens for the asset backing rather than trade them on the open market. That was kind of like the original asset backing tech or idea. Now our devs want to sort of put that onto steroids, and they've got multiple revenue streams that are going into asset backing. So rather than just a basic tax structure that feeds a secondary liquidity pool, they actually are going way, way, way advanced with this. So things like we've got an AVAX node which we're looking to build ASAP. that will feed directly into our what we're calling it liquidity backing, right? So our liquidity backing would be fed by an Avalanche node. We might even build a several, depends on funds, what the community want, what DAO votes for, etc. But yeah, so over a year, at these obviously lower market caps and these lower volumes, the node itself is I don't have the figures, but it's basically if AVAX gets to I think about $150 per token, then the passive income from that is around 200 grand in US dollars per year, and that would pump straight into our liquidity backing or asset backing, as it was previously known, to help boost up the secondary liquidity pool. Now, there are other revenue streams that would feed this as well. We have an investment fund. So the investment fund will be able to, again, feed directly into that. We don't have to have one token in our liquidity backing. A lot of them are, old asset backing tech simply is the native token of the blockchain. So if you launch on the Binance Smart Chain, your asset backing token would be BNB. On DegenX, our liquidity backing could be anything. We can put in low caps, we can put in Bitcoin, we can stick Ethereum in there, we can put whatever we want in there, and that will just pump the liquidity backing price of the token, with the idea that actually catches up and takes over the market price. And so people are actually burning their tokens and then buying them back, so that pumps the market price up. This is obviously a year down the line once the liquidity backing is really starting to kick in. But there will be a point where people are burning DegenX tokens instead of selling them, and then they'll burn them, and then they'll simply use whatever funds they got back out of burning to rebuy, and they'll be able to then buy more DegenX in the market until it levels out again. So it's pretty crazy. They've got some really, really good ideas for it. The devs have, from what I understood, pretty much worked out the concepts already, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. So now it's just going away and building it.
So is it something new within the AVAX blockchain, or are other projects over there that kind of the same concept?
So asset backing isn't a new concept, but liquidity backing and the way DegenX are going to do it is completely unique and innovative. So that is what we will present to Ava Labs, and we'll say, look at this, and obviously we will pair that with their node.
Yeah, sounds interesting, but again, you will be only benefiting if prices go up, right?
No, so this is the best bit about liquidity backing is there could be no volume on our token, and liquidity backing can still go up because asset backing is reliant on tax and trading of that token, whereas our liquidity backing, we're going to have multiple revenue streams of passive income, including the node, including our investment fund. So the DegenX token doesn't even have to go up in price for the liquidity backing to be boosted. We can boost that passively through activity on the project or passive income streams that we're setting up.
Right. So you have other streams that can bring in revenue.
Yep, exactly that. So yeah, we're not reliant on the trading of our tokens. We've seen a lot of Avalanche tokens, pretty good projects, decent utility, not reaching that wider sphere of investors, and therefore volumes are low. So you couldn't base a passive income token on low volume; it just wouldn't work. So we are looking out. So we're looking out of the project for our passive income. We're not going to be reliant on the DegenX trading for passive income. It will be completely external. So if we get trading as well, then boom, we've got like a nice concoction there.
Yeah, that's a good point over there, because if the market continues to be like dropping or being on these levels, most of the charts have died when it comes to the volume.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Definitely you cannot rely on that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to have both active and passive income streams to feed our liquidity backing. So investments, we've got a nice investment fund, so we can make investments and pump those profits straight into either our staking contract that will come out, so we can pay our holders, or pump it into liquidity backing, pump the price up without any trading of the token. So yeah, that's utility number 2. If there's anyone on the call tonight that's got questions, save it. I've got a Q&A slot at the end, and I've got my devs here who will know far, far more than I do. which takes me nicely into utility 3, which is the investment fund. So I can probably get through this one quite quickly. So the investment fund, right, the idea behind it is, again, another revenue stream for our holders. So without any trading, a normal token, everything seems to stall. We've got an investment fund. Now we will look at, we've got quite a big plan for this. I might get told off for leaking it all, but I'll leak as much as I can. So we want to set up funding across everything from investing in low caps, high caps, leverage trading, and forex. So we can generate we can make investments that obviously the DAO sign off on behalf of the community. Will appoint treasurer across each like pillar, if you like, or each column of type of investment. So we might have a specialist for DeFi, we might have a specialist for layer ones, we might have a specialist for forex, we might have a specialist for stock trading.
All right. And how is the founding going to happen? Is it from the taxes? Is it from for these trades, investments, etc.?
Yeah. So at the moment we've got 2 or 3% tax, which is feeding investment fund.
All right. So it's there.
Yeah. So at the moment we've got an app as well. Or is it an app or is it just an online thing? But we've got a tracker now, which is tracking all of our smart contracts, so our community members can simply track to see how much US dollar value is in our investment fund, is in our marketing fund, etc. So we've kind of got that live as well, so people can track that. But we'll use that to set up our passive income streams for our investors that will feed into previously mentioned liquidity backing asset utility, and also staking contracts as well. So so that's kind of the investment fund. We're really excited about that. Unfortunately, it isn't an immediate priority just because we really want to get the DAO set up. We want to showcase liquidity backing to Ava Labs. So the investment fund is something we're working on as a concept, letting the pool of money build up and up and up and up and up. And when we're ready, we'll let the DAO control it and appoint treasurers, and then we'll be cracking on with that. But yeah, it's exciting. The wheels are in motion for that. The money's coming in as well, which is great. But it's not an immediate priority for the project. Okay, so utility 4. Okay, but so utility 4. Let's talk about. So we also want to eventually set up a DEX. So that is very much on our roadmap. Is our setting up our ambition is to be the #1 DEX on Avalanche, right? So we've got a bit of competition with Treasure and Pangolin. So, and I think there's one called Hurricane as well, which is coming up. But the guys are looking to set up a DEX, and we want to build in all of our tech once we've rolled it out to so tokens can launch on our DEX. It's basically like a launchpad DEX combo, where eventually like DegenX as a token will be the liquidity backing token of others. So that'll take DegenX out of supply, or it will increase the price as well. There's a DEX element to our project as well. I won't go into too much detail on that just because I don't have it right now. It's a bit further down the line, obviously, for it to be completely up and running. We need to roll out all of our other utility so that when projects launch on it, or we host their tokens, that they can use our tech. So that's in the pipeline. And then another utility, which I'll talk about, is a fun one. So it's the DegenX Clinic. So mentioned before, we are Degen traders. Every single one of us have been affected by rug pulls, honeypots, all sorts of crypto scams. And so we set up this DegenX Clinic utility, which is, Sonic/Degen Trader mentioned that he was in the construction industry. So we've got a DegenX Clinic in Croatia where we will allow our community members to book it if they get rug pulled or honeypotted, etc. So they can go there, relax, unwind, make themselves feel better, enjoy the Mediterranean coastline as well. So yes, that's a unique utility, right? Not many projects give you that. And while it's not being used, well, it's in a pretty prime spot. We can rent it out and we can feed that money into investment fund or further into liquidity backing. So the guys have got some wild ideas, some really unique utility, and it's obviously there's a bit of fun to it as well, right? So
Yeah, I
So
think
that's
that everyone here on this call should book.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
should
100%.
book for that clinic. But you
We're,
know,
we're,
how will it work though? So, for example, will there be a minimum holding of DegenX tokens, or will it be?
to be confirmed on that one, I believe. But I think we actually have the clinic. We don't have the structure on how to book and get out there at the moment. But it is something would happily come back and tell you about again. But yeah, I don't have the specifics on how that would work just yet.
All right on. And do you know like how many people can facilitate at the same time?
That is a question I don't know the answer to. I'm hoping one of the guys on the call do. Who can I pick on? Sonic, are you there? You must know this is yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm here.
How many people can it host?
For now, for starters, we're just building a funds for it. We would need. We are building it in the island of Vis in Croatia. It's island about 4 hours with ferry from the coast, and our plan is to buy a small plot over there and to build like I don't know if you know glamping style. It's not expensive, but it is really nice. For starters, I think we could do 5 units, 5 or 6 units. Each of one can host about 4 people, and then we must see if we would extend it if it is working. But places here in Croatia, tourism is going really well, practically full whole year, and it will be part as an investment of all Degen holders. For us, as 3 of us here in Croatia working in construction, it's not the hardest part is to how we build it or how will it function. Hardest part would be to make all token owners the owners of that plot. For that, we would need to set up a company in some other country, and that country would be owner of that land. So I don't know, we are 1 or 2 years from that utopia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's way down the road, yeah. But just to clear some, I mean, because it's not something that it will be live soon, so there is no point of focusing on that right now. But I like the idea. But as you're saying there, used by your holders. So does it mean that it will be free for them, or there will be like a discount price?
Probably we will make it free for big holders. If you own, I don't know, half % of holdings, you can book one time a year for 1 week. You can book it for free. But if you are a holder that have a low amount, you can pay with Degen. So we will try to avoid our holders paying by fiat or by other currency. For them, it will be the Degen. For others, when it's on rent, we will try to make it payable by AVAX or some other currency that we can put in our liquidity backing.
The thing is, it will be decided by Vidal in the end, right? So we can't say it yet.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yep.
And just on that, just quickly, just so I know that sounds quite far-fetched and very unique, and people are probably thinking, what? Well, it was Degen Traders company that we used for our audits. So this is fully legit. Like it's this company's docs through our audits and stuff. So this is not just something that's been made up. Like this is very, very achievable.
So DegenX is a registered company, you said, yeah?
So we had to use a registered company as part of our audits. So the Solid Proof company, the German audit company, wouldn't just accept random people. Yeah.
Oh, in Germany, you're registered in Germany, right?
So yeah, I believe the business is Croatia, but the Solid Proof are the auditors, and they are German, and their requirements are to audit our contracts. We have to have a registered business to docs with, so that you can't just send off contracts and get them audited like you can with a lot of others. They actually require you to docs a company.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, I think we kind of touched on the Degen rehab clinic, which I think was the spot of the day back in the open mic. Everyone loved the idea.
Yeah. So I've got 10 minutes left in the slot. We've run through the utilities, the project, the history, etc. I'd love it if we could do an open mic Q&A now. If anyone else wants to ask us any questions, I've got all my team on with me, community as well. So if anyone wants any questions, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I have one
Q&A.
question.
By the way, there is no limitation on time unless you have another meeting or whatever moving forward.
I've got to put the kids to bed.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Can I answer one question about the utility, please? In terms of liquidity backing, I'm so curious about it because let's say other project want to participate providing liquidity. It's going to be possible in some way that it's going to be like dope LP liquidity coming in from other projects.
We can use other projects' tokens in our liquidity backing, yes. So however, by other means,
that's huge.
whatever.
That's amazing. I like that idea because there are many projects that they just can rely on other professional people that really can help these projects to participate in this LP liquidity.
Yeah.
Especially the low market caps projects, let's say, no?
Yeah, it's all open ended. This is part of the DegenX philosophy with this is a lot of the tech that some of the tech that we're looking at has been done before a bit or to a decent extent, but a lot of it we've seen is it lacks one thing, which is flexibility. So in the business world, obviously current big tech business is all about being agile and being able to adapt to market trends, political insights, changing economies. That is incredibly important to be agile in big business. And so in DegenX, we've kind of adopted that and making all of our tech as flexible as possible. And that's absolutely key because we don't know what the crypto market's going to be in a year or two. If you look back over the previous years, back in like 2020, for example, it was seen as a good thing to renounce your contract. And then in like 2021, it was like, well, why do you want to renounce your contract when because then you can't build on it, you can't make it better, or what if there's a flaw in it, you can't then change it, you have to relaunch. And then in 2022, it's been like, well, everyone needs to do it for a DAO for security. And then you've got like peaks and troughs in terms of auditing requirements. What's good enough? Is KYC good enough, or is full doxing? There's the crypto market constantly changes, and so we're planning for that by making every single one of our utilities flexible and adaptable to market trends and regulations that may or not inevitably come in. So, we're ready. Like we not want to fix our tech and put all our eggs in one basket. We're going to be adaptable. Any other questions, guys? 98 of you on. There must be someone on that's got a question.
I mean, again,
thank you. I'm so happy about.
Yes, Sir Joseph. Since you're limited on time and you have to finish your, presentation, etc., and we can have the AMA and voice chat keep going on, but you can finish your presentation and then the rest of the team can remain and answer questions, etc. How does it sound?
Yeah, that works absolutely fine for me. Thank you.
And by the way, we'll have best question giveaway in the end. So make sure that DegenX team, listen to the questions so they can pick up the best question.
Sure. Well, I'll stay on for as long as possible.
Okay, we can move to the next. We can keep the questions for the end, so they can be like all in one.
Yeah, I've finished my my spiel, if you like. I've done with the utility overview. We've got a few more, but for now, I think that's probably all I wanted to discuss.
Okay, so in regards of the utilities, since you have plenty of utilities over there, which one are live by now, and actually which one were live since day one and even now? And how are these utilities doing? Are they bringing are you seeing, guys, the full power of it that you were thinking of, and bringing some revenue or whatever they were built for?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. So the contracts themselves are built. So, for example, the marketing one, the investment one, all the smart contracts are built and audited. But in terms of the utility that sits around them, that's still being created and pioneered. So the community themselves are still actually looking forward to us dropping those utilities. So yeah, but in terms of the smart contracts, that bit's done. It's just kind of how they then interact with the utility itself. So we've still got to deliver a lot of the utility. But for an example, the marketing fund, right, which is right for we've got a multi-sig wallet that controls our marketing fund, is worth about 65 or 80 grand already. So that's working well. The investment fund, I think, is about 8 to 10 grand, and there's a couple of other smart contracts that have got a decent chunk of value backing them. So yeah, it's just about then delivering the utility that sits around them. But as I mentioned previously, the overwhelming priority right now of the developers is to create the DAO, and so then the community can control the project. So that's number one. We'll drop the DAO, and then we'll let the community decide on the rest of it.
Okay, since you brought it up, and this was one of my other questions in regards of the marketing, development wallet, etc. Are these wallets vested, locked? And I mean, you mentioned that the marketing one is a multi-sig, and who are the ones that need to sign for every transaction?
So there's there's I think there's 5 people registered as signatories, but there's 3 required, I believe. That
Right.
Daniel, whoever, tell me if I'm wrong. 3, I believe, are required to sign it off. So we obviously have a head of marketing. So JC, I don't know if he's on the call, is pretty much our lead for marketing. So he will do a lot of our reconnaissance work with influencers that may be good for our project, and then we can work with them, and we'll do a deal, for example, and we'll pay in DegenX tokens or AVAX, whatever we've got, and it will be then signed by 3 of the 5 registered signatories, and then it pings out.
So you're paying for marketing in DegenX token as well, you said?
Depends on what they want. So a lot of people are so interested in the project that they want DegenX tokens and they want to hold it. Some want AVAX, then they can just dump the AVAX and get the money.
Isn't that kind of risky? I mean, because we have seen that, especially when it comes to big marketers, influencers, etc., where they might be asking for a big chunk of tokens. They can hard your chart sometimes.
Yeah,
we are quite new project, so everybody is interested in getting paid by token because it has so much room to rise. And we don't do block payments. We do payments in marketing. We do payments over the 6 months, 12 months, depends on which influencer, which type. We have one good utility that is our legacy distributor. It is also one of the innovations that nobody else has. That we can give you somebody grant of 100,000 DegenX, and he can get it only by in amount of 5% of what is he currently holding. So if he dumps it, he's on 0. If he buys more. If he buys more, he can claim more that month. So we really put some thinking on it, and we have about $80,000 in our marketing fund, and I have dropped you our white paper where you can check all our signatures of those wallets.
Right. So yeah, you're investing. I mean, if you're investing them, that's a good thing, because that's why I'm saying that if you're paying, let's say, someone, because this big influence, you mentioned that you are backed up by big influence, etc. I'm not, let's say tomorrow or next week you came across with a new one, you give him a big pay because they have a high pay. That's true, and it's invested. He can dump.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
We don't.
We are not yesterday.
We don't need it either. we get approached, as I'm sure other projects do, about 100 times a day with offers, and some of them are big, and we literally don't. We paid, I think, 2 people, maybe 3, from it, like, and they want tokens, and one of them is a 4-month vested, so it was only like $400 worth of at launch price, and they're vested for 4 months, and they get consultancy off them. They're promoting DegenX through various communities. They've given us access to massive forums to promote the project. So even if they dumped all in one go, like we said before, they couldn't then get the rest. They've got to hold them to get all their tokens of payment. But also, they will have delivered tenfold in terms of value than they're dumped. So it's not like we're giving tokens for them to dump on our community. We are only doing deals with people that are pretty much guaranteeing a return on our investment. That's the way we look at it. It's an investment in our community. We started with like 400 people in our TG, and we've grown it to over an extra 1,000 members, and they're not bots. We've got a very, very sophisticated entry portal which doesn't allow bots and stuff in. So we don't give out tokens, like, so there's no point. I get asked every day for tokens, and we just say no, unless we've got
that's good. That's good, guys. You made it clear, and since you have that utility over there, by locking them, and if they sell, they lose, etc. So, which is a good one. And do you think like you can outsource this like for other projects as well, so you can get some revenue back?
Absolutely, the plan. You've hit the nail on the head. That's it.
That could be a good one, like a new way of vesting, sort of, but you can get benefited out of it at the same time. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a really clever bit of tech, which is weird because I didn't even talk about it from a utility perspective, just because it's something we built that kept our V1 holders in the picture, but it didn't add you get a lot of projects that relaunch, right? They launch, and then their V1 holders are already disgruntled because it's a relaunch, so they get a new load of investors to provide new liquidity. Then the V1 holders dump, and then you've got a new load of holders that are just unhappy because they're all at a loss. So we looked at that and we're like, well, how do we make our new investors and our V1 holders happy? And that was where the guys created the legacy disperser, which is this thing where, as it was discussed, is a vested type of tool, but it adds buying pressure to the project.
That's a smart one. I mean, I'm not sure how does it work when it comes to the contract itself, like, locking and, losing the token, etc. But since you have it, and I don't want to elaborate on that, but sounds really cool, man.
Yeah, nice. Cool. So, nothing else? Any questions? Okay,
and you said that your biggest priority now is DAO. Let's if we can touch more on that, how the DAO system will work with it. I mean, can everyone vote? Will it be like a tier system based on their holdings? If I have more, 1% of the supply, do I have more votes, etc.?
So you'll be weighted. So everybody can vote. Anyone that holds DegenX will be able to vote, and you'll just be weighted on the amount of tokens you hold. So let's say I hold 10,000 DegenX, and you hold 20,000 DegenX, and we are the only 2 people that vote on a proposal, and you vote yes, and I vote no. You will outweight me because you hold more tokens, and therefore you will pass the vote. That's how the voting system works. That's how proposals work. The intricacies in terms of duration over how long voting periods are open, or how long proposals are open, or does it cost DegenX to propose something? That's stuff that Daniel's still figuring out. But in terms of the fundamentals of the voting and the control, it's weighted as per your tokens, and then basically you'll just add all the voters together, and does X equal more than Y? And if yes, it passes or fails depending on what was upvoted. All right.
And I think that you might have received this question quite often when it comes to manipulation and from whales, etc. Is there anything that you have in plans?
Daniel?
How to prevent
it? It's just, I can jump in. So the DAO is actually actually based on, I don't know if someone knows this, but Compound Finance has some not templates, but some contracts which were adapted to Open Zeppelin's contract, and it's all about the Governor Bravo DAO concept, where you have a time lock controller, which gets all of the ownership from the contracts which they can execute on, and this time lock controller is only controllable through the DAO. So the DAO itself, or the governor contract itself, will be is already audited from Open Zeppelin themselves, and I trust them that they are pretty secure. And it's about vote delegation. You can move your votes to someone else who can vote for you when you're, I don't know, on holiday or something like that. And you're not able to vote or whatever. And the proposal itself and the manipulation stuff, I think this is covered from Open Zeppelin themselves by far. So I have no concerns that this is working. So they are working with snapshots, actually. Yeah, you have the voting power at a certain point in the blockchain, and you are just able to use this voting power to do so. So every movement of your tokens or your holdings afterwards, you are not a legitimate holder anymore, and you can't vote. So obviously,
what is the cooling period once? Let's say I want to change my wallet, and there is a voting ongoing. If I transfer, what is the cooling period?
Yeah, so there is a voting delay which is configured. I don't know how long it will be, but once the proposal starts, the voting period will be 1 week in terms of blocks. Since we are on Avalanche, blocks are some sort of not consistent, like on Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain or whatever, because the Avalanche blockchain is generating blocks when they need blocks, and not just generating a block every 2 seconds or so. And the voting period, will be 1 week. Then there is a pending period before the actual execution. This time period can be used so holders which are complaining about the proposal or are not interested in this change of the project can sell them tokens, and before the changes are applied to our project, and can stay out of it. But the transfer, I've not tested it yet, how it will affect the holder when he wants to transfer his wallet. He sees the proposal is generated and wants to distribute his funds to another wallet and try to vote on that. I have not tested that right now, but I will figure something out how it could be possible if it is actually a case we want to cover.
All right. And do you guys have like transfer tax within wallets?
No. We have zero transfer tax in terms of wallet to wallet transfers. We are just tax direct pair transfers.
Okay, so you will have the voting, you said, for 1 week, right? Just an example.
Yeah, example. Yeah.
Okay, so if I vote with one wallet, does it? How did you call it? Is it OpenZil? You called it? Sorry.
No, it's you know the contracts of Open Zeppelin.
Open Zeppelin, yeah. So
it's a
my
big
question
framework.
is like, if I vote with one wallet, and if let's say the cooling period is way less than the period that the voting will be open, will it have like a snapshot, or will it remove my vote? does it continue to read that wallet till the end?
I don't know yet.
It's very common where if you vote on a DAO on chain, that once you place your vote, your tokens are actually locked, so you then can't transfer them or buy or sell, or sell them. So that's actually
I know that. Yeah. Some lock their tokens as a voting power for proposal. No, it's nothing like that. The Governor Bravo contract just supports or let's say, so our DegenX token, every transfer done on the token or on the balances of the holders or wallets or contracts or whatever, have the mechanic that they make a snapshot at that point in time and checking, and you can check on that what the balance was at this block number. And the snapshot the snapshot will be used for determine how much funds you had at the point in time where the proposal was created, and it's just working with this.
Right.
There's a question in the chat. Sorry, did you see the one?
That was about to say that I will not take much of your time when it comes to that. I will come over the group later on and discuss further on that. But K9, I saw your comment over there. So if you want to pick up that question.
Sure. Yeah. So for anyone that hasn't seen it, there's a question on the chat that's asked basically why Avalanche when you know there's more volume on like Ethereum, for example. So it's a really, really good question, that. And actually, the team debated all the kind of EVM compatible chains and sort of did like a gap analysis and had a look at, benefits and the pros and cons of each, etc. So yes, we know the volume is on Ethereum. ETH is king for volume, but that's no secret. So when we looked at AVAX, we were like, right, what can we get on Avalanche that we can't get on ETH? So I mentioned earlier in the AMA that we actually had a meeting already with Ava Labs, who have given us their time. They have given us further time. They've guaranteed that we better speak to them again. We've already been kind of told, yes, we would develop a innovative application that they will look at funding, marketing, development, resource to help us push this through. We would not get that on Ethereum. It's just not going to happen, right? It's just, I couldn't tell you of a project that's got that on Ethereum, and so that's one, right? So with a project which wasn't capital rich when we started it, having that ability to reach out to the native chain and say, can we work with you? Can we partner with you? Can we do this? Now, I'm not saying we're partners because we're not, but they have literally said they would support us if we can develop innovation on their chain. All they want to see is innovative applications built on their chain. So we would not get that on Ethereum or the Binance Smart Chain. So that's one.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, of course, other simple facts like, well, Avalanche has never actually had any downtime as a network, ever. It's never had any downtime. So it's extremely reliable. At the moment, at these market caps, the gas is basically free, it's pennies, and it's instant, pretty much instant. Yeah, you buy something, it's in your wallet straight away. The number of failed transactions is very low, although we did actually have a few on our private sale and launch, such was the volume. So that was interesting. That's the first time I'd seen that volume on AVAX. But so in terms of cost for our investors, the gas is cheap, and it's very, very quick. So there was that as well. But what I would absolutely stress is that we are planning a multi-chain expansion program. So we are not picking AVAX over Ethereum. We're not picking AVAX over Binance Smart Chain. We're not picking it over Phantom. So if you're pro one of those chains and you're thinking, oh, I'd love to see you been on Phantom or whatever, well, we will be. Don't you worry about that. We will be there. We've simply chosen Avalanche as our starting network because we believed it would be the best place to host a launch or an entry to the market and work with a good development team. We know that AVAX has got about 100 million budget to to help develop applications on its chain, and we can work with them on that. So yeah, we've chosen it as a starting point, but we have an aggressive expansion program planned. We want to be on most every EVM compatible chain. We have no reason why we won't be on every single chain. So it's not an AVAX over ETH or AVAX over Binance Smart Chain. It's simply upon launch, AVAX offers us a few more benefits than the others, but we see value across them all, and we want to be on them all. And just talking a little bit more about that expansion program, our total supply is 21 mil tokens. We will not mint new tokens when we expand. So we will not have 21 mil and just effectively have 5 different DegenX projects, which is what some tokens do, right? They launch another they launch on another blockchain, and they just replicate what they've done on their starting chain. We will bridge and we will burn DegenX on C chain, and we will remint them on another chain, and then we will pair the liquidity so it's fairly even, so the market caps aren't wildly different. And we've had a community member that's put forward an incredibly interesting idea on how we do that. So that's something we're talking about from a development perspective. But yeah, so the expansion program is there. We're not pro AVAX over everybody else. We just thought it was a really good place to start when we looked at entry point benefits for us. But yeah, no, watch this space. We will, if you're pro ETH, we will come to you. Don't worry, and we will give you what you want, which is DegenX on ETH. And if you're smart chain, I'm sure we'll be there too. So just watch this space.
Yeah, that's a really good valid point over there when it comes like to the smaller chains. The possibilities to grow and the support that you can get in there, if you are not like a meme or whatever project, but you're trying to build something, the support that you receive will be like way bigger compared to like going to ETH or Binance, where no one can notice you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we know one build projects that have not been able to interact with their native chain. We know we've got some people that we've worked with on who have launched their products on Smart Chain or Ethereum, and they've never had any chance to sit in front of CZ, for example, or Vitalik is not going to happen. So, but whereas we've been in front of their business development team, and we're a week old, so we think it's a good decision. But time will tell.
Awesome. K9, do you want to pick up any other question from the main chat that you see that might be a good one to answer based on what we have covered so far?
I'm just reading through now. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Do you have vesting period? Commitment of the team for the project is very important. It takes time to develop major things. The crypto is moving fast, and some investors are less patient every time. Does the team have a plan for early investors to stick for a long term? And did DegenX attract one of the famous actors to become an ambassador brand? Do you have that plan? So, all right. So vesting. So may have missed this. The bulk of our tokens, in terms of supply percentage, is allocated to our V1 holders, over 50%. Which, okay, if you are looking at that as a tokenomics of a project that you didn't know had this crazy utility and wicked devs, you'd be like, I ain't buying that because they're just going to dump on me when I buy, right? And I'd be exactly the same. But that's where you enter the legacy disperser, which vests our V1 holders, who are our biggest holders. Because bearing in mind, the V1 version of this project was launched with basically no liquidity. So that meant the market cap was hugely volatile. It meant the early people that got in got a big chunk of the supply. Fortunately for them, they're not getting it all back, right? They're being vested over 2 to 3 years, 2 years. And basically how this legacy disperser works is, if they do nothing other than just hold, so they get 10% of their V1 holdings back upon launch. So they're all on 10% so far. If they do nothing else, just held their tokens, they would only ever get back a total of 33% of their V1 holdings, and the rest would move to the DAO. Okay, if they bought more, they would get more, and if they sold, they'd get no more. So it's a very clever bit of maths that sits behind the disperser to work out how people acquire all their tokens. The bigger the holders, and bearing in mind, a lot of the big holders are either team members or community members that are basically like extended consultants to us, right? They're the ones who have got the biggest holdings, and they're going to have to spend a small fortune to get back all their V1 holdings, which is great for our new investors because they're allowed to dive in, pump their money in with security, knowing that the V1 holders aren't actually going to dump on them. They're more likely to buy their bags, right? Because those V1 holders will see in the utility, they want their bags back. And in terms of the V1 holders, well, they've gone from a project with very, very low liquidity. And actually, so when you've got a low liquidity project, every time someone sells, it just affects everybody else, right? One person takes a big chunk of money out of the project and everybody else suffers, such as a low liquidity project. So we've moved to a much higher liquidity project with 2 different liquidity pools. And what that's enabled is our V1 holders to get their V1 holdings back, where on paper, they might have had a decent investment in V1, but actually the reality is they would never be able to take that money out because the liquidity wasn't there. They now have less of their holdings than they did in V1, but it's worth more. Well, they'll be able to take more, their investment is now worth more in terms of monetary value in the real world than it was in V1. So we've got a solution that benefits both V1 and new investors, but also vests our V1 holders over 2 years. So they're our biggest holders. So there's the answer to that. Vesting is done over 2 years. Sorry, I've got a bit of background noise here.
No worries, man. And what is your liquidity ratio right now in both of the pools?
2 seconds. Sorry, I've got a bit of background noise.
Yeah, I'm not sure if someone else wants to answer this question from the team.
Daniel, you there as well? I've got a child that's not happy. Bear with me.
Take your time, bro. In the meantime, I'm just checking the main chat for another question. We can have one more question and we can wrap it up.
Yeah, guys, hi. I actually don't know what the actual ratio at the moment is, but everyone can look up the value of the liquidity pools at the moment on stats.degenx.finance. And yeah, so the Trader Joe's has 133k liquidity, and the Pangolin has 117k. And you see we are like boosting one of the pools always, which is the main pool, but the main pool is changeable. So when we see one of them is falling behind a little bit, this is kind of what we want, because more price impact would give more opportunity to do arbitrage, which is again volume. But yeah, when it's getting too high, we will swap it around. And
that's that was one of my next questions. Like when it comes to the arbitrage, do you guys like have or have thought like having your own like sort of arbitrage? I mean, since you have built so many utilities, having your own arbitrage bot where he can trade within the pools for the price difference, and have some extra. Having some extra revenue for the project.
Yeah, I guess at some point we will make this, and we will even like maybe build something when we have our own DEX that will like do arbitrage between our DEX and other DEXs. So and this will also flow into the income streams of our system. So yeah, we want to use like everything we can get, and this is basically free money. So yeah, why shouldn't we, right?
Right, yeah. Because
So,
I have seen this lately, like when it comes, they are having different pools, etc. They are doing their own arbitrage, and it's a big benefit for a project.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Because, sorry, Weizen. go on if you want to.
No, I wanted to talk about a different theme. So,
Okay.
but I'm actually I have brought my I've actually brought my kids to bed, so I don't know if you already talked about it, but so I just wanted to ask about it. But if we talked about it, so yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's probably for the arbitraging, it's a good situation we are in. We can just whitelist the contracts which are doing the arbitrage and
otherwise it couldn't
remove
work.
the text from it.
You could play on top of that instead of having sort of revenue coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good point in this situation. You can just whitelist your contracts and do the arbitrage without taxation. And I've already built something like that. I have some flash loan arbitrage contracts currently in development, which can be used for future features on our DEX or wherever we need it. Yeah.
Right, cool. I see K9 is back.
Yeah, sorry guys, I had Mrs. came down with a
no apologies, bro. All good. We understand.
Yeah, thank you. So there's another question around attracting influencers to help with reaching wider audiences, etc. Maybe an actor or something like that. So great question. So one of our top partners / influencers, a guy called Scotty. And he is actually on a program called Geordie Shore, which is a very, very big TV show here in England. It's like I don't really know how to describe it. It's basically about people that go out in Newcastle and get drunk quite a lot, but people seem to love it. It's very, very popular here, such as the poor English culture of just drinking and behaving badly. But anyway, he's also a crypto influencer, so he's not just some random guy that we've kind of targeted on Twitter. He actually reached out to us and liked DegenX, and reached out and wanted to partner with us. So we've got him for a couple of months, see how it goes. He absolutely loves the project. He's in our Telegram. He's got 1.2 million followers, and he is pushing DegenX daily. He is a big believer. He's a holder. So yeah, that's number one. I remember we're a week old, so we're not going to be getting Brad Pitt tomorrow or anything like that. Let's just be realistic about that. But we are under no illusions that is key in crypto. Is getting a project pushed to the masses. So yes, Scotty is on board. He's massive for us. We're really pleased to have him, and he's a top guy as well. Like I said, he's in our Telegram. He's a humble guy. He's big time, but he's more than happy to speak with us, and he speaks to JC daily about how to help push the project. So he's a good guy. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be more.
Okay, so does anyone have any question here from the voice chat? Just feel free to unmute yourself if you do. Is your last chance, guys? Nope. Okay. Okay. Do you want to cover any other question from the main chat, or we can wrap it up? I know that you're busy over there at the same time.
I'm just scanning.
It's up to you.
Sure, yeah.
Let me see.
I can't see anymore.
Yeah, I'm checking as well. If I find something, we'll let you know.
Oh, okay. So there is one around building clinics in other areas. I don't know if that was covered. At the moment, no. Like I mentioned on the last question, we didn't start as a capital-rich project, and there's some projects that obviously enter the market and they've got billions of dollars in funding to pump their own charts or pay for whatever they want. We don't have that right now. We've come a hell of a long way since we've launched in terms of the capital we've got at our expenditure, but we're not capital rich, we're not cash rich. So in terms of promising to build clinics in other areas, I couldn't definitely say we'd do that right now. Croatia is the sort of the V1 location for the DegenX clinic. In a year's time, if DegenX is huge, like we're planning it to be, then sure, if we've got the capital, sure, we would absolutely look at something like that. But yeah, for now, that's not on the table.
And actually, That's a good point over there. With your clinic, what is the estimated cost for you guys to build the clinic?
Oh, Sonic, are you
Because I
there?
mean, you have it in there. People are happy about it, but is it technically achievable? And will you guys have the funding a year from now? Because you're a big team. You have a lot of expenses and more expenses to come down the road. So look, we want to see at the same time how doable is this?
No, it's
So
perfectly doable. It's not. We are not dreaming of a resort camp of 50 million euros. It's perfectly doable, and we are calculating for start to about $300,000, and it will be enough for our 5 to 6 units. So it's not something crazy. It's not some amounts that are unachievable. It's perfectly achievable.
All
yeah,
right,
I mean, if
and also,
you consider as well, if you consider put it into perspective. So, an Avalanche node right now costs in the region of about $20,000. So at its all-time high of what's that, about 6x up from here. Yeah, that's over $100,000 just for a node, and projects would still pay that. So we'll have the node built down to these cheap prices. That node could almost pay for that cost if the DAO wanted it to. The annual return back when AVAX gets back to its all-time high, hopefully it does. That would fund in a year a great deal of that. Should the DAO want to direct those funds that way?
right on. Yeah, I see Marty as well. He's saying on the mentor, the team doesn't get paid. That all of you are investors. So yeah. All right. Last chance if anyone has any question from the voice chat before we wrap it up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that why the most people are holding so strong, especially the bigger ones, and buying even more is the reason is we want to build so many passive income streams that you never really want to sell your tokens. You just want to leave it in your pocket as a cash cow and let the passive income flow in. So it's basically a good thing to sit on. And the reason is why we vested the tokens for 2 years is the Bitcoin halving is in 1 year and a half, I believe. And typically half a year or 1 year later, the next bull run starts because the supply is gets more scarce. And so hopefully the economy of in the whole world will be in a better shape at this point. And believe me, they printed so much money, and this money needs to go somewhere. So wages will rise. People will have more money to invest, and they want to bring it somewhere. And I believe the all-time highs which we have seen right now are a joke when you compare it to the new all-time highs in the next bull run, because we have so much more money in the system, and people have even more disbelief in the fiat currencies. And that's just my point. That's why we vested the tokens for 2 years, because at this moment when those 2 years are gone, everything it hasn't been claimed is going to go back to the DAO locker, and we can go to the bigger central exchanges and make some deals so they list us. So we planned it over a long time, and we will stick to the project. It's not like we are running tomorrow. That's not what we want. So that's just that.
No, I do definitely agree with you. I think that the adoption rate at this point is so low, and we have achieved, we have reached at this market cap that we have reached on the all-time high. But once we see more adoption, taking place, this will be just a piece of cake, to reach back there at this market cap of the crypto, definitely. But yeah, guys, I mean, when it comes to you, I really like the way that you have chosen Avalanche. You definitely have a lot of utilities out there. Some of them are live, so I really hope that you will deliver as soon as possible the rest. Not that you will not be able to deliver, but for the project to become stronger and having more revenues coming in. But yeah, definitely really great project. I do like what I see, and definitely I would love to have you back once you have done more milestones, you have achieved more stuff. So with that being said, K9, Mike, to you, bro, if you'd like to, and by the way, for all the rest of the questions, please join their Telegram. You have seen here in our community in the Ninja Lounge how active they are, how engaging, etc. So just go over there, ask your question, go through the website. They have plenty of other utilities that you want to learn more about. So JB has, I see, yeah, she has posted the Telegram over there many times. So join there. They will welcome you straight away. And K9, was nice to have you here, bro. So if you'd like to give a closing statement from your side, and like a call to action and why people should come into your community, guys, and be an investor in the end.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you very much for hosting us tonight. It's been a pleasure to be here and present to your community. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if you've not had a chance to ask a question, or you're still mulling it over whether you should ask it or not, even if you think it's a silly question or it's really complicated, doesn't matter. Any of the team you see here, the DMs are open, or our Telegram chat is open. Please visit us. You can speak to us in any manner you would like, if it's private or public, no problem at all. And what I'd add to that is, we are a community-driven project. We are actively looking for people to come join us, get themselves a good bag. We've had a retracement back down to sort of the 3 mil market cap range, up from over 5. Get yourself a big bag, and if you want to come and join our marketing team, if you've got some skills, come and join our team. We are community-led. There's no team pay or anything like that. So we're all community run. So if you want to get involved, you like what you see, there is scope for you to join the team. The door's open. We want good people. We want good skills. We want you involved. So yeah, if you want to speak to us in DMs, please do. And why should you come and join? Well, I asked the same question to the team when they tried to recruit me. I said, well, why would I put my money in DegenX? And the response was, DegenX will be a project that you can invest in, and you'll never have to sell your tokens to recoup your initial investment and more. So the plan for DegenX is every single person that buys it will be able to get their money back without having to sell anything. That is where DegenX wants to get to in the long term for all of its holders. Passive income for all. And that's why you should join us.
Great closing statement over there, K9. Once again, thanks everyone for coming to this AMA. Really great one. DegenX community, you guys rock over there. It's always great to have you here. You make some noise, that's for sure. Love your energy once again. And when it comes to the project, yeah, I really want to see you guys in the, I don't know, a few weeks, in the next few months, to come back for an AMA and talk about the utilities that you have launched and what you have achieved. Keep the good work going on. Really good to see, projects that are trying to build something and growing on this space. So once again, thanks everyone for coming, and have a great night, and stay tuned for the giveaway and the best question winner.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. Appreciate it.